What's up, lore masters? Today we'll be analyzing the ships of the Ferengi. Those evil, pathetic capitalists that somehow outwitted the Federation's most advanced starship for its time. Because that's the message Roddenberry wanted to tell. Let's just get into it. Among the Ferengi ships, the most recognizable is the Decora class Marauder. While we don't have an exact classification, Memory Alpha referring to it as a Marauder, it was referred to as several different types, including transport ship and warship by the Federation, and an attack vessel by the Ferengi crew. Interestingly, the Decora would be a formidable vessel against the Galaxy Class Starship. Where there is some question as to the strength of the Dodera Dex class, the Decora is noted in dialogue as being extremely advanced by Starfleet officers and has been seen beating the living hell out of the Galaxy class. Widely utilized in the 24th century, the Decora ship was about as fast as the Galaxy Class Starship, with warp exceeding a factor of 9.0. It had defensive shields and sported forward missile launchers, directed energy weapons on either side of the vessel, as well as torpedo launchers. Unlike the Galaxy Class, most resources state that the ship has gun ports that possibly could be interchangeable. This would allow vessels to vary slightly in design and capability. Additionally, the vessel would have an electromagnetic pulse weapon located towards the aft that could cause moderate damage and additionally drain the fusion reactors and batteries by at least 30% of the enemy vessel. This weapon, unlike the others, was detectable by a slight buildup of energy before it strikes. Additionally, the ship had auxiliary vessels built into the ship itself, though it's never really stated or seen what these ships' capabilities are. At first blush, I wasn't able to identify warp nacelles on the vessel, possibly indicating that the ship doesn't utilize standard warp propulsion. However, it is possible that the nacelles are embedded along the sides of the ship, kind of like a steam runner, albeit the design is not consistent with warp nacelles for other warp-capable species. The vessel also has the ability to extend its neck. Now, this could be seen as both surrender and attack, as it opens up sensitive parts of the ship, but also extends the gun ports, which just seems like a horrible design if you ask me. Ironically, the Federation would have barely any information on these filthy capitalist pigs. I guess having money and being in a capitalist system just makes you better than your, we'll go with non-capitalist counterparts. Moving on, the Ferengi Shuttle, also known as the Ferengi Pod, was a warp-capable ship that could hold a crew of about 2 to 8 personnel. This shuttle, which was created by a horrible pig capitalist government that is just so inferior to the Federation, was considered to be one of the sturdiest vessels in the galaxy. Being able to outrun Romulan interceptors, the ship could go halfway across the Milky Way before needing maintenance. Unlike other shuttles that were made in the Federation, the ship would sport phasers and shields for defense. Additionally, the shuttle appears to be modifiable, with some variants only having chairs for the pilot and co-pilot in a very cramped cockpit, and other variants having a captain's chair with the same 2 consoles and being very spacious. Consistent with Ferengi design, no matter what the variant, the control panels were half-shaped round balls. The last ship that actually has an image is one that we don't actually have a name for. The vessel existed around the 22nd century and had the ability to dock with other ships. It was reminiscent of known Ferengi designs in the 24th century, but didn't exactly look like them. It had multiple engines, though no known warp nacelles can be seen. Unfortunately, not a lot is known about this vessel. Moving on to ships that are mentioned but never shown on screen, we have the Ferengi Cruiser. Can you guess what its classification was? This ship was active and in service in the 24th century. We don't know much about the vessel, just what was told by a crazed Klingon captain. The Ferengi additionally had a freighter known as the Ferengi Freighter. The freighter was also known as a cargo ship, so there is that. The Ferengi would field a mobile gambling platform, also known as the Ferengi Casino Ship. And there's also the Ferengi Garbage Scow, which was actually mentioned by some Klingons who were talking about how it hauled away the USS Enterprise. There's also the Ferengi Trading Ship and the Ferengi Transport Ship, both of which have absolute jack and information about them, so there's that. Now, for those who actually stuck around, I do find the Ferengi interesting. Before DS9, of course, they were made to look like pathetic capitalists. And yet we're on par and even beat the Federation in some instances. DS9 really, if you'll forgive the term, humanized them into something that made more sense. I honestly never realized how powerful their ships were until this breakdown though. But those are my thoughts. What are yours? Let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe, and as always guys, please remember, ultimately all of our lives are just a story. Make yours a good one.